My question is regarding energy efficiency, and I'll add to that the green. This all across the state, we have to have everything green, everything natural, and almost going too far. I'd like to know your opinions about that.
We talked, we're going to go in reverse order, so we have a little change up things here. I-937, it baffles me that hydroelectric power is not a renewable resource. I know that our legislators are working on that. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. At the same time, a market economy that is able to innovate and come up with new ideas that are going to make power, alternatives to power, be financially viable, those are all great. But when you do that by doing subsidy from the federal government to build wind turbines, and that's coming from this pocketbook, or this pocket that's our federal tax pocket, so that it pays for another one, I'm not sure that's the right way to go. We absolutely want to be a leader in energy production and alternatives, but that's because we have a better idea, not because we juggle money around from one spot to another.
The order, right?
Well, I feel like karaoke and I can't sing worth a darn. No, well, hydropower is about 2/3 of Washington State's power, and while we need to protect the environment the best we can. Washington State does not have a problem with green power. I think 80% of all the power in the state of Washington, the number I heard, is green power, and so. I think we're doing a remarkable job in this state, and then that brings up a whole other issue, but we wouldn't have enough time to talk about it, and that's, the cap and trade. And don't ask questions about that. I didn't say that to bring it up. Who wants it, Jerry?
We said reverse order,
okay.
So.
Well, I believe the same way that these men do that have talked, that the hydroelectric power is renewable, no matter what anybody says. The government needs to stay out of setting the standards for what we do in this state and in this economy. Setting standards for power should be left up to the private sector that knows best how to run business, how to build these turbines. Turbines are kind of like, wind turbines are kind of like computers. As soon as they get one up, they're outdated and they've got a better one to go in its place. We've got one of the best laboratories in the world right here in the Tri-Cities, PNNL, Pacific Northwest National Laboratories, that works on these things out in the Hanford Reservation. I need to slow down. I believe with the resources that we have in this state and in this country, we can be a leader in the world in what they call green power. It's just a responsible way of creating power and protecting the environment. I don't believe that we have a global warming problem. And I don't believe that the government should be setting standards on vehicles either, trying to get them to get better mileage. The government is biting itself by setting standards on vehicles, because we look at the new vehicles that are getting worse economy because we have to meet air quality standards. As a mechanic, I understand what clean exhaust is, and every time they put a standard on a car, they're getting away from that. Government needs to get out of business. That is what everything boils down to that we're talking here tonight so far. And so if we can let the economy drive everything, it'll be a whole bunch better.
Well, when you go last, you shouldn't have to say as much, because a lot of it's already been said. I'm conservative. I know why 937 was passed, just so if you wonder why hydroelectric is not part of that green energy package, is because we are so blessed with so much of the hydroelectric power in our state. So if you put that in, there wouldn't be any incentive for any green power. So that's the reason. Yes, it costs money. The government is subsidizing the wind turbines and so forth. And this trade and cap and trade situation also is a real problem that we need to really study that before we jump in and commit to something like that. We are also blessed, especially in the Tri-Cities, with nuclear energy. We have the brain power, we have the ability to pursue all these alternative energies, and we should be doing that, and not just necessarily subsidizing it from the government. So that's my statement on that issue.